Hey everybody, this is my presentation on the day in Gainesville. We had to go to Devil's Den, the Butterfly Garden, as well as the Florida Natural History Museum, the one on UF campus. We ended up going was Devil's Den, a prehistoric spring which is completely made up under walls surrounding the spring is made of limestone. Now, limestone is a sedimentary rock, mainly composing of skeletal fragments of marine organisms such as coral, mollusks, things like that. And about 10% of sedimentary rocks are limestone. We do know they're soluble because water does seep through them very easily. Now, limestone is also made up of minerals such as calcite and aragonite, which are both crystal forms of calcium carbonate. Water temperature of Devil's Den is around 71 degrees all year long. One, because it is underground, so the heat does get trapped, so it does because the heat from the earth keeps the water at that temperature. Now, when rain does come through, it seeps through the rock, resupplying the spring as well as from the aquifer. Some foss, as you can tell, there are some fossils throughout this limestone rock throughout the pictures I have shown. We did having to take some. We did end up having to take some water samples while we were there, and I will talk about that momentarily. But first, I do want to talk about the Ocala platform, which is also known as the Ocala Uplift. It's a geological feature, structural high in the northwest peninsula arc. Now, the structure is approximately 70 to 215 feet above sea level. Um, Now, the reason we say this is because it's mainly made of limestone, which when it seeps through and the aquifer disappears, it's going to cause sinkholes, and that's where some of our sinkholes are prone to happen in this Ocala platform. Also, want to talk about what is a karst. It's just a topographical landscape formed by soluble rocks such as limestone, dolomite, gypsum, things like that. Basically, caves. Now, we do have, uh, there are a lot of caves in Florida. One of them was Devil's Den, where the spring is located. Now, here are the test results for the water sample. The water sample is on average has an average pH of 7.23. Now that can change with the amount of sediments that are there and the time of the year, things like that. A lot of things play into effect of pH. Now the nitrate concentration that I found throughout my water sample that I took from Devil's Den was approximately 1.95 parts per million. Okay. Also, with the phosphate, we had to measure that as well, and that was around zero point 0.7 parts per million. Those can change based on, now these are all averages, so this can be changed on year based, like I stated earlier. Next, talking about the butterfly garden. That was a wonderful trip. I did enjoy going to see all the different types of butterflies that were there. Weren't able to capture best pictures, but it's okay. Like I said earlier, I'm not the best photographer. One of the first butterflies that I did find while I was there is the golden birdwing. Beautiful butterfly. As you can tell, its shape is aerodynamic, so it is one of the more faster flying butterflies. Now, this butterfly is mainly found in India, Burma, Nepal, China, so basically Southeast Asia. So these are not threatened. They are vulnerable, but they do require some protection just from habitat loss, and that is the main thing that keeps the population down of the golden birdwing. The second butterfly I found was the tree nymph. Now, I'm not going to try to pronounce any of the Latin names, as you can tell, because I am absolutely horrible at pronunciation, but it's okay. So, the tree nymph, beautiful butterfly, white body, white wings with black marking. Like I said, not best picture in the world, but it's still a beautiful butterfly. Now these are found in northern Australia, southern Taiwan, and they do have a wingspan of 12 to 14 centimeters. So these butterflies, as all butterflies, help spread pollen from flower to flower, which helps improve the ecosystem through diversity. That way you always have plants growing, which makes it a little bit easier. One, to help us with the oxygen we breathe. So another butterfly that was found was the golden rim swallowtail. It's a black butterfly. It's kind of hard to see, but there are some white spots that go along the wingspan of this butterfly. Now, the wingspan is 90 to 120 millimeters without the tail. Now, they do have a different color on the underside, like most butterflies do, but it still, you still can tell what it is by the design of the wing, as well as the significant pattern along the wings. Now, their wingspan, like the previous butterfly, is 90 to 120 millimeters. I apologize. Now, these are located in North America and South America, so the distribution is pretty large for these butterflies. So what we have here is the white morpho. It's a very beautiful butterfly, white. The design on the wings is a little bit different. If you need a better picture, please do look online. They are very beautiful butterflies. Apologize for the bad quality. Now, these butterflies look like other butterflies. One, because this is either the poisonous butterfly to predators, or it's doing what other butterflies do, mimic a poison butterfly to keep predators from eating them. So that is a very interesting. Next we have the crimson patch. It's a red, well, I wouldn't say red, an orangish red and black butterfly with white spots on it. The crimson patch is normally, I'd say, about maximum wingspan 4.8 to 6 centimeters. So a pretty decent sized butterfly. They have been found in North America and Mexico, northern Texas mainly. So this is a specifically region butterfly. Next is the clipper. It's one of the smaller butterflies that I noticed there. Still very, very pretty butterfly. Now, as you can tell, it's got yellow, white, and orange coloring in it. But like I said, it was one of the smaller butterflies that I noticed there. Next, we have the silver studded leaf wing. Now, this was very interesting because the first time I saw this butterfly in the garden, I actually thought it was a leaf, which it lives up to its name. But once it landed on a green plant, it was easier to identify as this silver studded leaf wing. Now, this is normally found in Mexico and the Amazon. Now, the reason they have this camouflage technique, like we've said with other, is to prevent predators from finding it. Next is the Doris longwing. It's, as you can tell, it's similar to some of the other butterflies that you may have noticed if you went to the butterfly garden, as a more streamlined look. So it is one of the faster butterflies. Its wingspan is not as big as the others. I think it goes from approximately, I apologize, I do not have that written down. Anyways, mainly these are found in Central America and to the Amazon, so not a large distribution like others we've seen. So let's move. Next, the owl butterfly. It does a similar effect as the leaf-wing butterfly, where it has almost a camouflage looking effect. The reason that they call it an owl butterfly is because of the circles on the back of its wing that almost looks like an eye of an owl. We have here the tiger longwing. It's similar to some of the other butterflies we've seen in color, as well as the streamlined look of it. They're also known as the Hekau longwing. They're similar. Well, Hekau is its species name, so a good name for it. Up next, we have another morpho. It's the blue morpho. Just like the white morpho, it has a beautiful color on the top, but on the bottom side of it, which you can't see here, is a completely different color. The reason we say they're different, same type of butterfly, different species. One, because of the color and discovery, and also because of the wingspan. This wingspan is about 7.5 centimeters, so it's a pretty decent wingspan. Next, we have the cruiser, another beautiful butterfly. Um, this butterfly has different colors based on the sex of the butterfly. A male butterfly cruiser is what's shown here. A female has more black on it. What we have here is the giant swallowtail, another beautiful butterfly, black and yellow in color. Its range is from the U.S. as well as Mexico, Central America, Colombia, Jamaica, and Cuba. So a pretty large range. Now, the wingspan is approximately 10 to 16 centimeters, so about 3 to 6 inches. This is the small postman. Weird name for the butterfly that I thought personally, but it is an intriguing one. It's got the streamlined look of the faster butterflies. So its its distribution is Western South America. So it's not normally found in the U.S. unless it is brought to butterfly gardens. Next, we have the Indian leaf, beautiful butterfly, beautiful in color. The one I took a picture of looked like it had a little bit of damage done to its wing, but still a very beautiful butterfly. The bottom of this India leaf is actually brown in color, so it can blend in with its surroundings. Next, we have some plants that I found in the butterfly garden, which are very interesting in my opinion. This is the painted arum. As you can tell, it's a triangular shaped, almost lily leaf looking plant, and it has specific dark spots on it. Now, there are different kinds just based on the species that this of this plant, but it's still very interesting. Its distribution is I think Middle East, Southern Europe, North Africa, things like that. It's native in those regions, Mediterranean region. So it grows about 30 to 46 centimeters. Next, we have the Chinese rain bells. These wonderful looking little plants, of course, are native to China, so they have been brought into this butterfly garden. Um, so these little purple flowers, as you can see in the middle of the screen, are the Chinese rainbows. Next, we have the rattlesnake cathelia. The rattlesnake cathelia is actually a pretty large plant, and it is mostly found in Brazil, Amazon, so basically tropical areas where most of these butterflies are found. They are relatives to the prayer plants. This next plant, the purple and green plant, is coleus. Coleus is another interesting looking plant. It can have different color schemes based on like one of the previous plants we talked about based on their species. The genus is still the same, but just the species is different, and also you can have hybrids of these plants, which causes difference in colors. This is the yellow shrimp plant. Um, Another interesting looking little plant. When it is in bloom, it actually has white flowers coming off of the yellow bloom. So this shrub is between 36 and 48 inches tall. So pretty long, pretty tall plant, and it's mainly in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. The final place we ended up visiting was the Natural History Museum, where we were trying to take as many pictures as we can about animals and plants and landforms that are in Florida. Form that I found was a cave. Caves are hollow places in the ground, sort of like Devil's Den, that we went to, formed by water erosion. Now, in these caves, you can have stalactites as well as stalagmites, which form from sediments from either the ground or the roof of the cave. Appropriate to have bats, since bats' main dwelling are caves. There are several different forms of bats. The one right here were specifically listed as cave bats. Bats have habitats in tropical areas and subtropical areas like Florida, and they are nocturnal. And since they are located in Florida and South Georgia, I thought it'd be appropriate to put them here. Also, since we were just in a cave. We have the raccoon. The raccoon is a wonderful little scavenger who's about 40 to 70 centimeters tall. They are located throughout the entire North America, but their main thing is they're herbivores and, well, actually they're omnivores. They'll eat pretty much anything. They'll eat your garbage if you're not careful. Now, the reason they're important is because they do help maintain insect and rodent populations as well. One of the other landforms that I found in the museum was the bog. One of the biggest ones you can find in Florida is the Everglades. Bog's just a wetland that accumulates peat, basically often forms of mosses. Prime example for Georgia is the Okefenokee Swamp with the peat moss growing around that. It's not an example of a bog, but an example of peat moss. Right here's the giant pitcher plant. It's found in Florida as well. It's found near riverbeds, bogs, things like that. Pretty much stuff with large water. Now, what it does, you can see these small hair-like features right here on the plant. They trap insects in that way the plant itself can digest it. Next, we have Cypress Dome, also known as a cypress swamp, cypress pond, things like that. Basically, this is just a large area where cypress trees grow together, mostly wet. When I say mostly wet, I mean it's majority of the time water is prevalent here in these areas, which is perfect for Florida since it is low to the sea level. And these are normally found near swamps, near rivers, things like that. We have the southern water snake here, actually the southern banded water snake. It looks like a poisonous snake known as the cottonmouth, and it is one of the prevalent snakes in Florida that helps maintain the rat population, rodent population, things like that. Like I said, it looks like a cottonmouth, and it lives near rivers, waters, bogs, things like that. This is the barred owl. There are a lot of owls prevalent in Florida from which help maintain the rodent population as well. Similar to the snakes, owls are nocturnal animals. They hunt at night. You can see them in the day sometimes. Now, this owl's average wingspan can vary just depending on the maturity of the owl. The adults normally are 40 to 63 centimeters long. This is the Florida box turtle. It's one of the more prevalent turtles found in Florida. It's smaller, so it does help maintain the ecosystem of the marine ecosystem in rivers by feeding on small fish, things like that. It's also prey to larger animals such as alligators. Next, we have the wild turkey. This turkey is similar to birds. It hunts uh, bugs, rodents, things like that, and it primarily feeds on bugs. Now, the wild turkey is a sport animal. A lot of people hunt them in Georgia and Florida. Its main main role in the ecosystem is to help maintain the bug population. Next, we have the cardinal. Like I said, similar to other birds, they prey on bugs. They nest in forest where they collect tree or limbs and things to build their nest and produce. Now, these are typically associated with open woodland areas. Now, they're different species based on the area that these birds are located. The reason I put this well vertebrae in is I found this one went into the cave exhibit. Uh, Florida and Georgia used to be underwater back in the prehistoric area, so it's common to find whale vertebrae, shark teeth, things like that in these areas. Now, this whale vertebrae was found in Florida, so they initially put it in here for that reason there. Next, we have the North American river otter. I just put it on here as the river otter. It's located in rivers mainly, and it feasts on clams, mollusks, shells, things like that. Now, this river otter does also feed on fish, so it does help maintain the fish population. This right landform here is the tidal marsh. It's near the ocean. It's inland, but it is a mixture of, um, I'd say a mixture of a bog and the beach almost. When I say a mixture of the bog, as you can see, it is inland, but there is prevalent seawater there, so that's why I say there's a mixture of both. And you can find this all along the coast. Since Florida is a peninsula, it does have beaches all around it, so the ergo tidal marshes are prevalent. Since we talked about tidal marshes, I figured I'd bring in beaches as well. Beaches are prevalent throughout all three sides of Florida, which is easy access to anyone there. So as you can tell, it's a big part of Florida culture. With that, we have a couple of sea creatures I put in here. The sea turtle's a big one. Florida and Georgia both have preservation acts on sea turtles to help bring up that population, since that was in decline. Right here we have the blue crab. This blue crab helps maintain the sea ecosystem by removing pollutants and waste, which helps all the other creatures that live in the sea maintain that balance. They also are omnivores, so they do eat plants and small fish. Next, we have the little blue heron. This little blue heron can be found in swamps as well as near beaches. They are predators by hunting fish and bugs. Now, they do help maintain both of those populations. Next, we have the magnificent fidget bird. Didn't know too much about these birds before I took the picture of them. Their length is about 80 to 114 centimeters, and they're located near subtropical waters of America. So Florida is a perfect ecosystem for them. They were encountered. One of the earliest ones was by Christopher Columbus on Cape Verde. And finally, I have the alligator fossil here. Alligators are one of the prevalent animals in Florida and Georgia. There are several different locations, such as the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia, that houses alligators, as well as one in St. Augustine and several other places like the Everglades that house alligators. These are one of the main predators for these ecosystems, such as swamps and rivers, to help maintain the fish population. This has been everything that I did during the day in Gainesville. I really did enjoy this trip. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it wasn't the best photographs, but it's the best I could do. So thanks again.